This is JBM, December 2013. I'm going to review Snowbeast from 1977. This movie blew me away. I just got done watching it for the second time this weekend. It's public domain, so there's a good chance that you probably have it in one of your Mill Creek collections. Even though it's made for TV, so it's like a little tame on the violence, it's still a good story. I'm like, man, this is a good... It kind of gets you glued, you know. I just kind of threw it in because of the winter setting. And then I just couldn't stop watching it. And then I ended up watching it again, like I was saying. And then I found out that the writer for this was Joseph Stefano, the guy who adapted the screenplay for Psycho. And I'm like, okay, that's probably why. So it's pretty simple setting of a ski resort in Colorado that's being attacked by a Yeti. And they just so happen to be holding their winter carnival, which is their biggest celebration of the year that brings them a lot of their income to that ski resort. And it just so happens that it's also they're celebrating their jubilee, their 50th anniversary of the winter carnival there. And it's led by this old woman played by Sylvia Sidney, who is an aging golden age of Hollywood starlet from the 30s, actress in a bunch of crime films. She was the old lady in Mars Attacks, and then she died shortly after that film, or a few years after that film. Her character is so awesome. Basically, they milk every ski scene. Yeah, I watched it twice, and I didn't even fast forward the filler. There was like this trend going on of a bunch of hipsters would get into skiing in the 70s and wanted to film skiing movies. I remember seeing one documentary where one director was like, I almost passed up this big film because I wanted to film my own ski film. And so it attacks these skiers in the opening scene, and they brush it under the carpet, and the guy running the place ends up telling his grandma, played by Sylvia Sidney, about the attack, and he's like, yo, we gotta shut this place down. She's like, oh, not during the 50th anniversary of the Winter Carnival, and she explains it that way, and she basically obviously ends up putting them in negligent endangerment, everyone that attends the festival, because it obviously goes on another ravenous spree. And let's see what else here. Yeah, they do this 21 gun salute to like a victim of the savage beast for no reason at all, because it died, and they like just did an immediate funeral. It doesn't even make sense. I love the winter carnival scene where they're like, it's inside the gymnasium, and the beast shows its face outside the window, and it's like an iconic shot. They basically just only show like the guy in the suit barely, and like never in any action scenes. Like they'll just do the old thing, the Wampa effect, where they'll just put a stick and a hand on a stick and like whack the actor, and then freeze frame. Anyway, Sylvia Sidney, she like did her own stunt basically. She fell down in the middle of this chaos where all these extras are running around after they see the beast in the window. And she ends up falling down in the middle of all these extras, and they like put it in the movie. It's hilarious, and she breaks her arm. She's like, I should have told everyone. We should have told everyone so they could have gone. Oh my god, I love this film. No, this is what I love about it. The character of Bo Svenson, who's supposed to be a former ski champion from the '68 Olympics. So this is in real time. This came out in '77, 9 years after. He's supposed to be a washed-up former Olympic champion, and he hasn't skated since then. So he has to overcome that fear, and he's supposed to be like a Swedish skater. And then he ends up telling the story about why he didn't ski anymore is because he thought that he would be on top if he quit, go out on top, Michael Strahan style in 2007. But like Michael Strahan, he felt an emptiness inside of him. And what does he do to cope with that? He, Michael Strahan style. Michael Strahan couldn't even deal with it. He's like co-hosting a show with Live and Kelly. That's how embarrassing his life has become. And there's also this one scene where they end up killing a bear carcass and bringing it in on a sled. And they're like, oh, we got the beast. And they're like, no, that's not it, you dumbasses. Then they end up talking to the sheriff and convincing him that they gotta kill it. And they're like, it's some mutant creature left over from the last ice age. And you're like, oh. And of course the ending is totally anticlimactic. You don't even really get to see him. Basically, Gar spikes him with a ski and he dies. So they milk all the ski scenes like a bunch of 70s films, like when skiing was like popular at that time. There's like a few more Mill Creek movies where they like rape the skiing scenes forever. But it's got that classic 70s feel. I absolutely loved it for what it was. I give it a B-. I'm out. I'm definitely going to write a short story on it because it is public domain. Snowbeast, Ravenous Moon, coming soon.